Hello everyone, and welcome to the March 2025 Energetic Insights. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Deepika Mistry, and I'm an intuitive guide, energy healer, coach, and a consultant. And for over 5 years now, I've been sharing these insights on a month-by-month basis, and it's really geared up for those of you that become more and more consciously aware of your intuitive and energetic abilities and are looking for some practical guidance to help you to navigate your way through. So if that sounds like you, welcome, you're here at the right place. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe we are already in March. I do not know where February went, and wow, what a month March is going to be. It's just wow. Before I dive into the full energies for this month, I've got a couple of quick announcements. The first one is, if you are enjoying these insights, I really would love your help to share them with anyone that you feel would resonate with them, or you feel that it may help them. If you feel inspired, please do comment below and hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. All of these things helps me to grow this channel, and also to reach the people that are really needing these messages at the moment, and the healing that comes with these messages that are coming directly from my guides. So thank you. And the second announcement is my website is still being updated. I think my bathroom renovations last month took over my entire life. So I'm a bit behind on all of this, but it will be updated soon, and you should be able to get more information about the 3-month and the 12-month programs then. But in the meantime, if you're curious about them, feel free to reach out to me directly through the contact section on the website, and you should still be able to book the intuitive readings there, and also the energetic alignment, which is the group healing journeys that take place every single month. And this month it's taking place on the 23rd of March, and I'll share more about that a bit later on. Okay, let's dive into these energies this month. Oh my goodness, wow. I think I'm gonna end the insights with that, because that's exactly how this month feels. There is a very, very exciting energy, and there's a very powerful energy, and there's almost like this energy that kind of beats through our entire body. It's like waves and beats at the same time. The key thing that I got for this month is that around the 15th to the 20th of March, there's going to be absolutely noticeable shifts. And it kind of starts around there, and it kind of goes into April. And I think if you've watched your January insights, you know that I've already mentioned that April, May, and June feel like a very active month. I haven't got much more information about that. I'm sure the guides will kind of give me more about that. And I think a lot of the messages this month are taking us on a journey of what's actually to come. So April, May, June feels very, very fast and active. If you're someone that's looking to understand about the eclipses, the various different astrological transitions, I'm definitely not your person, but Pam Gregory does some amazing updates. I'll link her below. She is absolutely incredible. Then if you're also somebody, and I think I got a question from somebody last month, thank you so much for commenting and asking your questions. I feel that Ann Tucker and also Lee Harris talk really well about what's happening in the collective and how to best navigate those energies and give you guidance. So Ann Tucker especially, she basically channels the messages from the angels, and she's absolutely incredible, and so is Lee Harris. So if you're not getting what you need from these insights, do go and check those 3 people. I highly recommend them. All right, and then what I've got here is that there's still time. I think I mentioned in the Jan insights that January, February, March is to get your ducks in a row, get organized. There's still time for that. I think the switch and the shift happens around the 15th to the 20th of March. So if you haven't got organized, or you still need to get organized, or you still need to get your ducks in a row, do it now. In summary, there's so much in this insights, and a lot of it, I feel that you're going to have to allow yourself to feel the energy behind my words, because it's not necessarily the information I'm giving to you through my words. It's actually the energy that I'm transmitting as I'm sharing these words with you. So I just kindly ask that you open up your heart and allow yourself to receive it, and you'll receive so much that way versus listening to everything that I'm saying and trying to figure out, okay, what does that mean? Allow yourself to feel it, and that will allow you to kind of connect with the energy that I'm feeling for this month, and that will help kind of soothe your nervous system. In summary, this month is all about, and there's quite a lot of things this month, transitions, tying up loose ends, timeline separations, heart energy. Oh my God, this is huge. And I think it plays in all of the themes this month. It's about heart opening, heart healing, heart expansion, heart activation, and also the energy of love. It's huge, absolutely huge. And we've got a theme on that this month. It's also about new beginnings. So those of us that have been going through purging a lot of things, completing old cycles, letting them go, we may have been in the space where there's a little bit of a void, where nothing's quite happening and you definitely can't do anything the old way that you used to do them, but nothing has yet started. So March feels like there is this sense of new beginning and new things starting in new ways of being. And if you're not there yet, you may need to kind of let go a little bit, or maybe just drop into the energy of trust, allowing the perfect timing to guide you and lead you on your way. There's also this energy about love over fear. I think the energy of fear is really palpable at the moment. So, those of us that are feeling there's an opportunity to release it through our body and really step into this energy of love. And also, I mentioned last month, there's this relational dynamics that is playing out. And I said that will last for about 6 weeks. So that's still happening this month. And if you're curious about what that means, go back to the February insights and check that out. And what's really, really important this month, and we've got a theme on this as well, is to slow down, rest, and breathe deeply. It all sounds really, 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 really simple, yet it's the most powerful tools that you can use this month to kind of navigate the energies. If you remember nothing from these insights, slow down, rest, breathe deeply, and I've got one thing, play. Those 4 things is all you really need to do to help you to navigate these energies this month. And there is also this sense of, I think many of us, I think we're going to have opportunities. What I'm just being shown here now is almost like, and this is part of one of the themes as well. It's almost like you can fly as high as you want to fly. And the higher you fly, the bigger your perspective becomes, and the smaller some of the, saying you're having an argument with your sibling, for example, and you're so caught up in it and you want to be right and they want to be right, and you're just going at it, and then it just takes one of you to step out, step back, and then you step out, step back, and then you get a different perspective. This is about going even higher and looking down, and before you know it, the argument and why you were arguing doesn't even exist. So I think there's an opportunity. Many of us are going to start to experience kind of higher perspective, seeing the world from an eagle's perspective. And what will really help with this is walking in nature. So there's so much information in these insights. Right, let me dive into the first message from the guides. And the guides go, you are not a human robot. You are a being of light in human form. You have a body, and that body is a key to the unlocking ancient wisdom, a key to activating advanced technology. Have you forgotten who you are? We would say yes. And more importantly, you have forgotten how to feel. When you allow yourself to feel, you reconnect back home to yourself, your wisdom, your light, your power. In the months to come, many realizations will occur. Remember, you are a being of light, and you must feel your way. You must feel through your body. Stay grounded, stay present, and stay heart-centered. So, yeah, the messages are really crazy this month from the guides. They're really giving us guidance of how to kind of navigate these energies and just helping us to remember who we are on a deeper soul level. Right, before I dive into the first theme this month, I'm just going to do a quick recap of the February insights and the key themes there. And if any of those resonates, do go back and watch the February insights. And the themes are the safety prism, breaking free, the human, be it and own it, the balance, feminine and masculine, and the final one is the dreamer, creative awakenings. So if any of those 4 themes resonated with you, do go back and watch the February insights. All right, let's move on to the first theme for this month. So theme 1 is called Slow Moments, and the guides go, Inhale, exhale. Feel your breath deep within you. Inhale, exhale. Slow down, stand still, rest. Inhale, exhale. Deep breath in, slow breath out. Inhale, exhale. In the times to come, the solace that you seek will be found in the slow moments. Cultivate them through play. Your nervous system will thank you. As your feet touches the ground, allow them to sink deeper. Let your heart lead the way, surrendering, opening, trusting. As your mind stops beating on itself, inhale, exhale, a new chapter now awaits. So, wow, wow, wow. Yeah, the messages, I think that's guidance for you. It's also a tool as well. The energies this month will feel like everything's on speed. It's supersonic and it's just getting faster and faster and faster. And it's almost really, really dizzying in terms of the speed that it's moving at. So slowing down and having these slow moments will help you to steady yourself and to navigate these energies. It's both exciting and overwhelming for many of us, and also nerve-wracking. So it's a combination of different things depending on who you are and where you are and how grounded you are as well. So if you're on the overwhelm and nerve-wracking side, keep practicing your grounding and keep going deeper into your grounding as well. And as I said, I feel that this message is really helping us to navigate the energies this month. And this is a real sense of, you know, kind of shifting from these various different states of being. And I kind of describe them as 4 different states of being. The first one is being unconscious and lost. The second one is being in a state of knowing. And the third one is being in a state of doing. And then the fourth one is being in a state of being. And I feel that this message really talked to that. And I think many of the messages this month really talk to this. And so if you're in the state of unconscious and being lost, you know, you think about it as a rat race. I remember there was a time that I was in a rat race, right? When I was a consultant. And, you know, and I would just be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and going and going and going and running and running and running. And I had no awareness that I was burning myself out. I was getting tired. I just kind of pushed through it. So there's a sense of you're pushing through and a sense of being lost. So you keep doing more so that you don't feel so empty. Yet it's what's emptying you. Then you kind of transition into the state of knowing. You learn that, oh my God, I can't keep doing this way. Maybe you burn out and then you realize, oh crap, right, this isn't working for me. I need to find another way. So you read up on books, you may go to courses, you may kind of get a better understanding of what the rat race is. You know this, but yet you haven't changed any of your behaviors, you haven't changed any of your thinking, you've just acquired more knowledge. And then you get stuck with that knowing in your mind. And so all because you know, you don't actually do, yet your body is still operating in the same way it has always operated, but you're getting more and more and more and more exhausted. And then you kind of flip. And then there's another point of transition, which is you go into the doing, where you start to actually make the tangible adjustments. You start to slow down. You start to kind of pull yourself slowly out of the rat race. And maybe part of you is still in it. Maybe part of you is not in it. Maybe you've learned to do it in a different way. You've got more spiritual practices, more mindful practices, whatever that is. There's a shift in that doing. So I think many of us are kind of in this kind of knowing and doing phase, and then some of us are kind of moving into this being phase. And maybe that, you know, and sometimes there'll be different aspects of our lives. So maybe work can be in the knowing phase, and our home life can be in the doing phase, and inner work can be in the being phase. So it can be like that as well. So this is not a hard fast rule. This is not I can see some of you kind of going, okay, here's a checklist. Okay, I need to get to being. It's what can you learn about yourself in each of these states, and go deeper and love yourself as you're going through this. And I'll talk more about that in one of the other themes. And the being state is is that you do nothing. You are in an absolute state of trusting, and you're taking inspired actions. There's a sense of peacefulness, there's a sense of trust, there's a sense of love, there's a sense of really deep surrendering, like you have this knowing, but it's not a mental knowing, it's a feeling knowing, and it's very, 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 very peaceful. And all of these things, you know, they kind of come and go. It's like waves, like the ocean of the waves. You know, sometimes you'll have a day of just being, and the next thing you know, something comes along the next day and just shatters that. And that's okay. That's part of the human experience. It's just to recognize where are you, and then you can move back into being. Just remember that you can always move back into being. And what will happen is that the time that you spend in being will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is what the guides are going to talk about a bit more when I go into the other themes, which is this is where I think that we're actually heading to. Right, I have some tools here that can help you to cultivate slow moments. The first thing is, very simply, slow down. If you slow down, what that will do is help you to stop tripping over yourself. So if you're finding yourself tripping over yourself, or you're finding yourself you've got too much, or you've committed to too much, slow down. And it may mean that you don't do anything over the weekends, and you don't overcommit to various different things over the weekend if you're overburdened or you have too much work on your plate during the weekday. This will then also help release some of the overwhelm and anxiety that will create and clear some space so that you can think a little bit more creatively and openly and allow more new things. Allow yourself to process these energies that are coming in. The second one is rest. Resting helps us to integrate these energies. I've often found that when I am tired, I just rest, even though I can't make sense of why I'm actually tired. I rest, and what I find is that I feel more liberated and more integrated after I've had that rest. And sometimes it's a season of rest, right? Sometimes there is like a part of the day that you're in rest. So it's not necessarily sleeping at night. Sometimes some of us are going through seasons of rest where we're just feeling so tired. If you're someone that's been in a season of rest for a couple of months, be kind and be patient with yourself, and keep going inwards within yourself, and keep getting the support that you need, whether it's through nutrition, whether it's through energy work, whether it's through body work, whether it's through physical activity, whatever it is that you need. Just allow yourself to do it, because in these moments you're actually really integrating these new energies, especially if your life has taken a different direction as well from what you used to do and what you used to be. The other one is very simple, is breathe deeply. And this helps to calm the mind, the body, and refocuses our attention back into our breaths. It's a really beautiful way to just kind of come inwards. And there are different types of breathing tools that you can use, but right now it's just really slow, like the message says, slow, deep breaths. And finally, the last one is play. And this activates our ability to trust more. It activates our creativity, and it is really soothing for our soul. And then on a practical level, here are a couple of things that I've just been playing with as well, and actually works really well to cultivate these slow moments. One is a phone detox. Start the morning without checking your phone, and maybe not check your phone in the last hour before you go to bed. Walking, nature, if not in a park. Like I mentioned, deep, slow breathing. Box breathing is a good one, which is 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out, 4 counts hold, and you keep repeating that. Body shaking, humming, which is great for soothing the nervous system. Focus on one thing at a time. I know I struggle with that. Energy healing, yoga, meditation, and any form of physical activity. And then I'm just going to leave you with a message that's come from the guides. And before I do that, I just want to say that this month's energy, there is a stream of slow moments. So if you catch that stream, you'll be able to use these tools quite easily and quite quickly, because the energy there is present for this as well. And it's going to set us up for what's to come. And the guides say, there's another message from the guides, and they say, the treasure you seek can only be found in the slow moments that require you to shift in order to cultivate that. It is a way of being, not a doing thing or a knowing thing. So I think they're just reiterating the message. All right, let's move on to the second theme for this month. And the second theme is called Heart Energy and Love. And I'm going to start with a message from the guides, and the guides go: we are moving into space where our hearts will be reunited once more. Your hearts are a gateway, a portal to the light being that you are and all that you are. Now is the time to expand into love. Do not let fear lead. Let fear move through you. It is not of you. You are love. Love is you. You'll be pushed to open your hearts, to let love in. Love creates paths anew. Fear no longer have a hold on you, as there is no place for fear in love. The vastness of love is not what you have been led to believe. Love opens doors of possibilities. Love is creation, creation is love. And now is the time to your realizations. So, really interesting message. So I just feel that this message actually flows into the next theme as well. And this month I just feel there's an opportunity here to really allow your heart to open, to really allow yourself to receive this energy of love that is moving through us, and moving through the ethers this month, to really help us to drop in and open up our hearts and expand into this state of being of love. And really, for many of us, the heart opening is a journey that many of us go on. And I can only speak of myself, and I know I have been on this journey since probably 2022, really intensely since then. And it started off with a dog. And sometimes we don't know what love is until something that is so unconditional and holds unconditional love presents itself. For me, that was a little puppy, and that just literally opened up my heart, and I didn't even realize that my heart was closed. And I thought that was one thing, then there was another, then there was another, then there was another, and then this year it's like it's going beyond what we know human love to be. It's love that is just so pure, and it has no attachments, and it's nothing what we have been led to believe of what love is on a human level. So I'm going to try and explain that, because I've experienced that, and I thought it was one thing, and your heart opening was one thing, and then it actually turns out to be another thing. So I think a lot of these messages are actually talking about what actually does it mean to open up your heart. But I'll come back to that in a second. What I wanted to share is that the guides also gave me some states of how we kind of move and shift into different states, and how we move from a place of having our hearts closed and then opening our hearts because of love. So first we could probably start off with unconscious fear. And then we move into conscious fear, and then we move into a state where there is no fear. So when there's unconscious fear, we're operating from a place of fear without knowing that we're operating from a place of fear, because that's what we think, that this is how we should live, this is how we should talk, this is how we should interact and engage with things that are outside of us and other people. And then we keep hold of what we know, and we're so afraid to let that go. So that is one state of being. I think many of you that are watching is probably in the next state, which is conscious fear, that you're aware that there is fear that kind of comes up and it's being revealed to you, and you're in the process of letting that go, in the process of identifying your attachments, in the process of going beyond what you know love to be. And then when you kind of enter the next phase, which is no fear, it just feels really peaceful. There's a lot of pure love in there, and there is no attachments. So again, I think many of us are in the space of conscious fear and no fear, and you kind of move in and out of these two states at the moment, depending on where you are and what your life situations are looking like. And part of this journey is that the guides are saying that we keep our hearts closed because of the pain, the suffering, the grief, the lack, the limitation, and the sense of abandonment that is stored in there. And we just kind of keep it locked up because it's safe to do that. But actually what we're saying, when we open our hearts, we have to feel everything. And some of that is from childhood, some of that is from our teenage years, some of that is from our early adulthoods, or even now. And for some of us, it's even going further backwards. It's in processing stuff from past lives. So there's so much in there. But they say that the more that we allow ourselves to process and feel, the freer we become. And there is also this sense of when we process our emotions, the wounding, the trauma, the grief, the suffering, the pain, it cleans up the space, it clears the space up for us. And then when we feel the feeling of the emotions or whatever we need to feel, purifies the space. So then we have this open space and an open heart for new things to drop in that we can't even comprehend right now, that we don't even know because we've never been there or we've never accessed that in this lifetime. So I think what I'm getting is that we're going through this journey of opening our hearts because there's new things to come. Some of that I have information for, and I'll share that as we go along. But it's really, it goes beyond like romantic love. It goes beyond love that is there for your families. Not to say none of that is important. It's very important. But it's your kind of expanding yourself beyond that. Oftentimes in the various different relationships, you are playing out all the different dynamics to evolve, to evolve through your own wounding and your trauma. So a lot of those dynamics are played out in those relationships, and then you kind of then evolve to a place where it is very, very peaceful and things have been resolved, and there is a sense of unconditional love. So where we're moving through is we're moving to a place where there is pure love, and pure love is really about frequency. It's a way of being, it's a vibration that you feel, and it creates anew. And there is nothing more tangible than that. It's feeling, and it's a feeling that comes with the more you open your heart, the more you'll be able to access that feeling of pureness. And it's just huge. And then when you're in that space, you're just like, oh my goodness, this is bigger than what I can ever possibly imagine. And also there's this sense of wow. There's so much I am yet to experience. And then if you can get into that state of being, it gets really, really exciting, because you're then trusting in the unknown, you're trusting in yourself and your higher self and your soul that has already designed all of this for you. And you're then kind of vibrating at that, the energy of love and that frequency of love. So yeah, it's a really interesting time. So I think that's where many of us are struggling at the moment, is opening our hearts, because to open our hearts, we have to process it. But the thing is, you don't have to spend ages processing, because the energies are so intense. It's actually supporting us in opening up our hearts. So if you're someone that went through this heart open experience maybe 5 years ago, it would have taken longer. And even for myself, you know, it's taken me, we're 3 years on now, and I'm still experiencing really various different levels of pure love at the moment. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And yeah, but it's also testing, because it tests your ability to let go of your attachments, and that comes from ego, and your ego has to die 1,000 deaths for your heart to then open up. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting theme and energy, and it's a big one this month. All right, let's move on to theme 3. And theme 3 is called A Time of Remembering. And the guides go: there will be a time that is coming soon, where the new world emerges through you. We shall start to reshare your memories, so you remember who you are, what you have designed, and what you have chosen. Your remembering is key to the creation of the new world that is emerging, paving paths anew that do not yet exist, as are yet to be created. Yet the creation exists at a level of consciousness that is yet to be defined on the material plane. The creation starts in your heart. It starts with love. It is love. And where you're not in alignment with love, the creation falls apart. To create, one must open their heart. And we know you humans, opening your hearts is a task that many of you do not wish to take. Yet it is the opening of your hearts that allows you to access your greatness and connection to your cosmic heart, a heart that beats as one with the stars, the galaxies, and the planets. So that was a direct message, and also the last one was from a channeling that I did, but the messages that just came through me from the guides. I'm just taking a moment, because it's like I just got to say, just take a moment to really allow the energies of these messages this message to kind of move through you. I think it's quite big, and I can feel it moving through me right now. So just take a moment to allow yourself to receive the energy from this message and let it just move through your body. Take a breath in and welcome back. So as I was saying, this message came from a channeling I did with the guides. So the way that I'm working with the guides is changing at the moment, which I wasn't too happy about, but it is what it is, and I'm having to surrender to the process, and some of the information is absolutely profound, like this message. But yeah, it's challenging my ego, that's to say the least at the moment. So where was I going with this? I lost my trail of thought. Yes. So the other thing to kind of note with this is that there's so much that is happening around us, that we are in times of uncertainty, we are in times of division in the world, but that's just one view. There is something so beautiful that is also happening. So that's why I think it's really important to sit with these messages that are coming from the guides and allow the energy to move through you. And in some ways, these messages are messages of hope, right? And instinctively, we know that. And we are starting to remember who we are. And, you know, it is actually, and the key thing is whether we're fighting it or not. So, for example, I think there's a reason why I kind of babbled a bit on this theme. So for me, the guides have been working with me for a long time, but mostly through writing, mostly through, you know, hearing my own thoughts or writing something down. And those of you that work with me and one-to-one sessions, you know that they sometimes come through. Yeah, that's fine. But this is something else. This is more like I'm sitting in meditation and they just talk through me. So I have been fighting that a little bit. But that is also my process and my way of getting comfortable with it. So the reason why I'm sharing that, I think that has only come into fruition because I have space in my life. And if I was working back in corporate, so as you know, a lot of things in the corporate space didn't work out for me last year. And then all of a sudden I'm moving more and more into this healing space. Not what I wanted, but again, it's letting the ego die 1,000 deaths, and this is another part of it. But what's happening, the more space that we have in our life, the more we start to remember who we are on a soul level, and more of that information is coming through. I think that's what I really wanted to say here, and just share it as an example. So, you know, there's been lots of energies that are coming in that are activating our psychic senses, that are opening us up to telepathy, to opening us to really feel and connected to one another. That there's just so much that's happening, and that can be overwhelming if we don't have the space for it. So it's really important to create and cultivate that space so that this can then move in, so that we can start to remember and really align to who we truly are. And then it becomes a completely different journey. And that's where the ego has to keep dying 1,000 deaths, and you just got to have fun with it. Here's one of the things. I've got some tools here that can help you to create that space, because this space it's on so many different levels. So it's not just about leaving a job behind and having that space, because I've known people that have left one job and they've left it, and then they've busied themselves with charity work, and they're just as exhausted as if they were getting paid in the job that they were in before. So sometimes it's creating the space and getting bored doing nothing, and that can be really challenging. I know it is for me to not do nothing. And then there's also sometimes I find myself doing lots of random things that, you know, it's just absolutely pointless. For example, I noticed that one of the things that I was doing was spending a lot of time on my phone and scrolling, and instead of cooking. So I thought about it. The time that I spend on my phone, I can use that time on cooking and nourishing myself. It's a creative process. This in itself is a space. It creates space. So one of the things that you can ask yourself is just pay attention to is notice where you're distracting yourself with your phone or something else, or, you know, it could be food, it could be chocolates, it could be, where are you distracting yourself? Is there like a story or a narrative that you're engaged in your head that you're constantly distracting distracting yourself from. Just pay attention to that, and that's an opportunity there to create some space, to release that and create some space. Also, you can notice the way in which you are keeping yourself busy, you're pushing yourself to do things. This really drains our energy and it prevents us from creating that space that we need. Notice where you are feeling uncomfortable with your awareness, your psychic senses, in healing energies. What judgments do you hold, and are they yours? This is so important, and I know I have experienced this myself. I mean, I've been shying away from the channeling work because of my own judgments about that, and my own judgments of what people are going to think. But really, that is my ego in that, and that's my own judgments towards myself versus anyone else's. So it's just very, very interesting. So I think many of us have got psychic senses and they are being activated, and we have got new healing tools and stuff that is coming in, but we're not allowing that to kind of move through us. And I think this month there's a month where you can just let everything go and get the space, create the space, so more of this can kind of come online and up to the surface. Also notice the rage, the anger and injustice that you're feeling. What are your thoughts on it? What's the dialogue that happens in your head? Where does it sit in your body? And what is it towards? Is it towards yourself? Is it towards an external situation? Is it towards a certain person? This is an opportunity to express it. It's not to bury it in. You need to let the energy of rage and anger and injustice move through you, whether it's through a physical activity, whether it's expressing it out loudly. And I think that is really important for many of us, to really just express that out loudly. And sometimes it's not to anyone else but yourself, or looking in the mirror and expressing that out. So you're speaking your truth and allowing your truth to speak through you. So I think that is really, really important this month. And then the other one is to notice your grief. I can't say enough about grief, and I'm sure one day I will do a whole topic on grief. But honestly, it's one of the most powerful tools that you can really sit with and be with and allow it to move through you. It's absolutely horrid and horrendous. The process is not nice. And I think many of us have, over the last couple of years, lost loved ones, and we've been in real deep grief, and that has activated the healing process and the clearing process. So allow yourself to surrender into it, and that will just kind of move through you, and it will open up this new space where more love can actually come in. So yeah, it's really, really powerful. And also sometimes grief is not about just lost loved ones, or it could be a breakup of friendship, partnership, business, personal. It could also be linked to a life not lived, and that's a big one for me, I know that. And also needs that have not been met of yours. We can grieve that too. And even if we're starting to meet our own needs, we can grieve at the fact that, you know, there's parts of us where our needs weren't met. There's grief there. Allow the energy to move through. So all of that is really, really important. And yeah, that is it for this theme. Let's move on to the fourth and final theme this month. And again, the message from the guys for this theme is from a channel transcript as well. So theme 4 is called Timeline Separation, and the guides go: there will come a time of transition from doing to being. This we know will be uncomfortable for many. Yet it is a place of sovereignty. This is a place you transform. Until you stop doing, you can never, ever really be. Being is a place of stillness, of peace, of love, but most importantly, a place of trust. Trusting in oneself and trusting in the universe, whether you would like to call it the universe, your higher self, God. It has many names, but ultimately it resides within you. You have not come here to do, you have come here to be. Be all that you are, the light that you are, the love that you are. You are so much more powerful than you could ever possibly know and imagine. So, again, this message was from a bigger transcript that I think I recorded on the 1st of March. Yeah, really, 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 really powerful. And I feel that many of us are shifting timelines at the moment. We have been doing this for a while, but it's going to be more distinct and we're going to notice it more and we're going to feel it more in our bodies and we're going to become more aware of it. So I think this is happening as a result of our hearts opening up. And the more we allow that, the more that we can shift onto a different timeline than we're on. I know for myself, I often used to feel, especially in my 30s, that I was living this life that didn't really feel like my life. And I knew there was another life on it, but I just didn't know how to get there or what it was. But actually, nothing changes on the outside. It's actually something that had to do in the inside, and then that created that shift in the timeline. Now I feel really aligned to the life that I know that I should be living and am living. So again, it was not something that I could point to outside of me. It was something that I felt inside of me. So it's really, really important. If you're feeling this feeling of something's not quite right, follow that feeling. It's all about feeling now. It's not about what do I think, or what does somebody else think, or what does society think. It's about allowing your feeling senses to guide you, because this is where we're going. We're entering into an era which is more about frequency, and frequency is about feeling. So that's why we're going through these energies at the moment, which is opening up our hearts. The more we open up our hearts and do the inner works, as we do the inner work, our heart also opens. Dropping into stillness is another tool that you can use. You can cultivate the energy of peace. And then moving through ego aspects of self when it comes to power. So we start to truly embody the power that we are, and stop playing small. So I think this is a really big one, in terms of oftentimes there's a sense of unworthiness, there's a sense of we're not good enough. And when we're in that place, we're often creating something from a place of ego, which tells us, oh yeah, we're wonderful. And we're powerful and the rest of it, but it's actually coming from the root place that it's coming from is a place of lack of self-worth. So what's happening, and then we end up really playing small, or we end up projecting stuff, and we're still disempowering ourselves from connecting with our own power. To connect with our true power, we have to know our own worth and be our worth. And it's about love, it's about self-acceptance, it's about kindness, it's about compassion towards ourselves, and that guides us deeper into self-love. And that love then opens up this sense of, I don't have the words for it, but this sense of knowing one's own worth. And then that kind of shifts the ego, and it shifts you from playing small. And it doesn't mean that the ego completely goes away. There'll be traces of it, they'll come and test you, but you're able to move through it because you're coming from a different place. You're not coming from a place of lack of self-worth, you're coming from a place of knowing your self-worth. So there's two distinct energies in that, and this latter one is where you really start to embody your power, which I feel that this message is really talking to. Also, there are many, many energies this month that are going to help us to clear, to cleanse, to reset and activate our mind, our body, our energy and our emotions, and ultimately help our nervous system so that we can feel safe within ourselves as we go on this journey. But ultimately, the choice is really ours. You know, we can choose to carry on doing things in the old way. Yet I feel that for many of us, it's getting harder and harder and harder. And it's almost like you're trying to hold on to something. The image that I'm getting is one of whitewater rafting, when the raft goes underneath the water and you try to hold on for dear life and you get thrown out by the rapid because the water is so much more powerful than you holding onto the raft. And I know I've experienced this myself. So the only thing you can do is surrender, curl up into a ball, and hopefully you pop out the other side. And I did, because otherwise I would not be here. But that's what, that's how it's going to start to feel. If we eventually we will have no choice but to let go. Right now, I think we're in a period where we have that choice to let go and really surrender and allow these energies to move through us. And I think it's just another reminder here that, and I've said this many times before, that each and every one of us have our own unique timeline. And you know, and our journey is unique to us, so please do not compare yourself to somebody else's journey. One's journey is not better than the other. We're ultimately going and heading in the same direction. We just, maybe some of us will be stopping. Think about it as a train station. The destination is the same, but the train might be different, and there'll be different types of trains, maybe more carriages, less carriages. There are some trains that will stop with other stations. There are some trains that will go in a completely different direction, then you have to change trains to get to the right destination. So kind of think about it like that. And there's a reason for why you're on the journey that you're on. And the other thing that the guides wanted to say is that the sense of, if you're feeling like you're shifting timelines or jumping timelines, many of us that are operating in a timeline, a frequency of more love versus fear, we're probably dropping timelines to meet our loved ones, our family members, maybe our friends, maybe our work colleagues, so that we can meet them at where they're at, and then we shift back to our other timeline. So a lot of this, that's why I think we're shifting and jumping timelines. So it's not to be judgmental about it. This is just a phrase of transition at the moment, where we are transitioning. So there is a lot of movement and jumping around. And part of us shifting back and shifting to a lower timeline to be with other friends and families is a way of kind of helping them, bringing some of this energy that we have on a slightly higher timeline to them. I mean, that's the sense that I got. But everyone's different. Everyone's experience is different as well. So hopefully this information helps you and guides you along your journey. Yeah, and if you have any questions, do let me know below. And if you're interested in receiving the full transcripts of the channeled messages on the guides, because themes, I think 2, 3, and 4 were the messages from the guides actually came from a transcript that I channeled, and I just broke it up into sections and then wrote the themes around it. If you're interested in receiving, I think there's 2 of them. Let me know in the comments below. If there's enough of you, maybe I'll start to share that information out, and you can have it in written form, because there's some great AI tools that transcribes what you say into words, and so I think that's really, really cool. Anyway, this is a long insight. Thank you all so much for watching these insights. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you found them enjoyable. And if you have, please do go ahead and share them with your loved ones, your families, your co-workers, anyone you feel that would resonate with them or will find them beneficial. Comment below and leave a thumbs up. And then if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to this channel. And then if you're needing some extra support this month, come and join that energetic alignment session, which is our group healing journeys. That is taking place on the 23rd of March. Slightly different times, because I think in North America they've gone ahead by an hour already by the time we do this, and we in the UK, Europe haven't. So the time will be, and please check the timing, because it's always going to be 6 p.m. UK time, but I think it's going to be 11 a.m. LA time, 2 p.m. New York time, and then 6 p.m. London time, 7 p.m. European time. So the theme this month is called A Time of Remembering, and I feel it'll be a combination of all the themes from this month. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'm sure I will see you next month very, very, very soon. Take care and have a great month. Bye for now.